Hello, I'm Violette and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tag video for Tag Tuesday about some of my favorite book covers. So I was tagged by Phillip at A Poet Reads to Write, and I don't think it was originally a tag video, but Phillip made a response video called Gold Medal Book Design to another video called My Top 10 Favorite Book Covers by Grammaticus Books, the channel Grammaticus Books. So I'll leave a link to both of the videos. And the video by Grammaticus Books is focused on original artworks. So by book cover artists that made paintings specifically for each book, which are wonderful, and I wish there were more of them these days, but obviously the expense for publishers is probably pretty high, as it should be, because it takes a lot of work for an artist to create such covers. So Phillip's response video encompasses books or book covers of any kind, so not just original painted artworks. So I've decided to do the same, but also to focus on books that are on my shelves. So if it was open to any books that I could find on the internet, this video would be extremely long. There's no way I could limit it to only 10 books. Now, I didn't include any children's picture books because obviously the artworks are half the focus of those books. It's where half the story gets told. And even in some instances where all of the story gets told if there are no words. But I have included some middle grade fiction. Actually, half the books I've chosen are from that category. So I guess I can make a start now. I think I'll leave the children's books to last, although I think I might just do a mention of each of the adult focused ones and my favorite children's ones. So I'll have two favorites in these. Okay, so my first one I haven't read, and this is a recommendation from Steve Donoghue. It's the second book in a trilogy by R.A. MacAvoy. So this particular one is number 2. Yeah, it's number 2, and it's Damien's Lute. And if I can get it in the camera there, it is a gorgeous cover. I love the colors in it, and especially the movement of the archangel's wings, encompassing and putting a real focal point on the two characters down here. And then we've got the ominous figure in the background, which apparently is, hang on, it's on the back here somewhere, the father of lies, I believe. So possibly that's him. I don't know because I haven't read it yet. But I'll read you the back so you get an idea what the series might be about. So, shattered by the demonic fury of his dark powers, Damiano del Strego has forsaken his magical heritage to live as a mortal man. Accompanied only by the guidance of the Archangel Raphael, the chidings of a brash young rogue, and the memory of a beautiful pagan witch, Damiano journeys across a plague-ridden French countryside in search of peace. But the father of lies reaches out once again to grasp him and to avert the hellish destiny awaiting. Damiano must challenge the greatest forces of darkness, armed only with the power of his love and the music of his lute. So I will eventually get around to this, but definitely I'm very happy I managed to find one with a beautiful cover. Okay, so the second one is a book I have already mentioned on my channel as well. It's The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. So the cover is just two-toned, the purple and the blue, with the focus of the black sort of making it pop out. It reminds me of a lino cut. Possibly it even is. And they've just put the text up on top over the quite likely original artwork. Actually, one thing I forgot to do, let me backtrack, is to say the name of the artist, if it's actually mentioned. Oops, knocking my mic here. So for Damiano's Lute, let me see if the artist is actually mentioned here. I know when I first put this list together, quite a few of them didn't mention, which is really sad. I think they always should be. No, this one was. So it says cover art copyright 1984 by Jim Burns. So the artist Jim Burns. So that was this one here. Oops, there we go. Okay, back to my second one, The Last Unicorn. So let me see if they mention the artist or maybe just the designer. It could be just the designer is mentioned. Not mentioned at all. Not even who designed the cover. That's really sad. Oh, hang on. No, I'm wrong. Right at the back. Right under here. That's where it's mentioned. Okay, so cover design and illustration is by Thomas Almeida. And it's by Rhine Books. Published by Rhine Books. So this is about a real fantasy, about a unicorn, about a magician who's really very endearing and fumbles along a little bit, but ends up traveling with a unicorn. And the unicorn is trying to find out if she's the only one left. Is she the only unicorn left in the world? And they end up traveling together, meeting another whole host of other characters and going on adventures. And yeah, so I will just read the back, but that's the sort of gist of it. But what I love about this book is obviously the cover. But it is beautifully written. I'm definitely a big fan of Peter S. Beagle's writing. So I'll read you from the back. So this is a quote from inside the book first. If men no longer know what they are looking at, there may well be unicorns in the world yet, unknown and glad of it. So, living in peace in her lilac wood. So hence the lilac, the purple at the top. And there's the gorgeous unicorn right in the middle. The unicorn didn't know the world had changed, or that anything had happened to the rest of her kind. Overhearing a chance conversation, she resolves to venture out and discover the truth. The road is dangerous, and the risks are great. If she fails, then unicorns will be lost forever. So it's just described as a modern fairy tale, a beloved classic, and voted by Time as one of the 100 greatest fantasy novels of all time. It's fantastical, poignant, wistful and wondrous, showing us the humanity of magic and the magic of humanity. I should show you the back. There is a tiny little illustration right at the back as well. I'm not good with this with the camera going back and forth. I have to practice that. There we go. You can see that now. Okay, so that's that one. Next one is just in green and white with a black text on top. It's called The Old Ways, and it's a non-fiction book by Robert MacFarlane. So this is about journeying on foot. I believe it is just in England, so I haven't read this one yet. I've got 2 of his books, and I quite like his writing. When I started one, and I saw the other one was on sale, couldn't resist it. So he follows the tracks, hollow-ways, drove roads and sea paths that form part of a vast ancient network of routes crisscrossing the British Isles and beyond. Robert MacFarlane discovers a lost world, a landscape of the feet and the mind, of pilgrimage and ritual, of stories and ghosts, above all, of the places and journeys which inspire and inhabit our imaginations. And so I have made a little bit of a start in this one, but as you'll see later, I'm reading a different non-fiction book currently. So the cover art here is by Stanley Donwood. Done by Stanley Donwood. I'll just show it to you one last time. But I love it. Still, it reminds me a little bit of a pen and ink drawing, but also of a woodcut. So I'm not sure how it was created. Could have just been done on the computer, digital art. or sometimes book cover artists combine. They'll scan some artworks in, or they'll scan their own textures or brush marks, and put the artwork together, on the computer. Okay, the next one is a book of poetry, and this one I want to say a big thank you to Pat from, oh goodness gracious, how's the channel name escape me? I'll put a link below. But Book Chat with Pat. She's definitely one that I watch every week, along with Steve and a few others. But I'm very grateful to Pat for introducing me to several poets, and one of them is Andrea Gibson. Some really beautiful poetry. So this one this book is called You Better Be Lightning. And look at this absolutely stunning cover. Just give you a few seconds to have a look at that. So if anyone could ever rope in the moon, I mean, that is just almost what I would picture. A really beautiful glowing moon with a background of stars. And it's just a black back to it. But that cover I would love to just display for a while. And I've read probably about 2/3 of the way through. Oh no, not quite. No, about half of the way through of this one now. And before I choose some to share for Poetry Thursday, I'll need to reread. Well, first of all, read the whole book, and then reread a few along the way before I make a choice. So my favorite out of, well, actually, it was really tied very much with You Better Be Lightning. Although, hang on, I'm really bad at this. I did forget to check who did the cover for this again. So this is. Our publisher is Button Publishing. I'm blocking the camera here. So, and it was published in 2021. It's the 15th printing. Wow. But it does not mention, not on the back either, who designed the cover. But I do really like it. Okay, so the next one is the book I'm reading at the moment, and I mentioned it on one of my videos recently. It's called Living on Earth, and it's a nonfiction by Peter Godfrey-Smith. So it's about life, consciousness, and the making of the natural world. This is definitely tying... just bring it back a bit. Oh, there we go. Tying in almost in first place with You Better Be Lightning. But this one I think I could look at for even longer because there are just more details in there. You can see more. But the colours in it, the text, even though it is quite large on there, perhaps a little bit smaller if I'd been designing it. Not that I'm a book designer, but I am an artist as well. And yes, I probably would have made the title slightly smaller on that one. But the artwork is just beautiful. It's just a little more subtle on the back, but on the front you can see it in all its glory, all the gorgeous fish, all the sea life. And this says it's the cover image. Oh, it's been taken from Getty Images, but it is called Ocean Life, and it's by James M. Somerville and Christian Schussler. So I'm thinking that they might have combined some artworks into the one to create the cover. That's quite likely because it looks extremely layered. I can see on there the fish, seahorse, what we call here in Australia, we call them blue bottles. The ones that are just very, very small. They're filled with air. They're like little sacks filled with air, and you see all those blue tentacles. Yeah, if any of those touch your skin, you will be burning, and they will be burning you, and you'll be screaming in pain. It's not very pleasant. And if you do ever get stung by one, the best way to treat it is, well, actually, you should probably carry a thermos of hot water with you. It is to submerge your skin or your body in as hot a water as you can stand, apparently. And I did have to try it on one of my sons. Not try it, but in desperation, and it really did work. So Living on Earth, it does also have some beautiful photos inside as well, just in the center. And so I won't go on about what the book is now. I might do a short review on it once I have actually finished it. Okay, next one. Okay, now we're on to the children's books. So we've got Journey to the River Sea by Eva Ibbotson. And here's the cover. It's just really atmospheric. The colours, once again, are really gorgeous. That combination of the bluey green with the gold and the orange, those sort of complementary colours always pop out, which is wonderful. And even the back. So it's more like almost like a wraparound, but not quite, because it's interrupted by the colour on the spine. So this one I haven't read, but it does have a foreword by Michael Morpurgo. So he's a really well-known children's author, and actually Eva Ibbotson as well, but I just haven't read any of her works yet, so I'm looking forward to this. It says it's an unforgettable story of adventure, discovery, friendship, and freedom. So Maya, an orphan, can't wait to reach her distant relatives 1,000 miles up the Amazon. She imagines a loving family with whom she will share great adventures. Instead, she finds 2 spiteful cousins who see the jungle as the enemy and refuse to go outdoors. But the ones of the rainforest more than make up for the hideous Carters. And when Maya meets a mysterious boy who lives alone on the wild river shores, she begins a spectacular journey to the heart of an extraordinary new world. So it was shortlisted also for the Carnegie Medal and the Guardian Children's Fiction Prize. And let me see if I can find any information about the cover design. By the way, it was published by Macmillan Children's Books. Let me see. Maybe over the next page, if we're lucky. No. That is so sad. I think even if it's not someone's original artwork, whoever actually designed the cover of the book, their name really deserves to be put in the credits, or whatever it is actually called there. But they should be mentioned at the very least. But you can see the 2 figures in the boat are the focus. You've got the gorgeous butterflies. And here I think also the writing really plays a big role. The title, the way the font style is just a perfect match for it, I think. So the entire design on the front is just wonderful. Okay, the second one looks like a complete original artwork, and it is a wraparound, apart from they've done a little bit of extra on the spine. So this one is called The Haunted Hills, and it's by Berlie Doherty. It looks like this. Oh, I really have to practice this with the camera. There we go. So The Haunted Hills. You've got that really bright red sun. I'm assuming it's sunset. And with the house being the focus, and if you look really closely, you can see the figures in the house, and in the front you can see a wolf, or at least I'm assuming it's a wolf. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a dog. And you can see one boy in the one lit window that's there. There's just one window that's lit, and in another window you can see a figure to the side on, right up against the window, and sort of holding their heads, I think, by the looks of it. So we've got, there's also a crow right on top of the chimney. A crow or raven sitting right on top of the chimney. But look at these amazingly gnarled and twisted trees this side. And it looks almost like a deserted house apart from that one lit window. So on the back we have the moon. So one side's the sunset and then we've got the nighttime on here. And yeah, another gorgeous cover. And this one, yes, thank you. They've actually put down the artist's name. Cover illustration is by Tamsin Roswell. Tamsin Roswell. So I'll put all those names probably on the screen as well when I put the video together, I think. So I haven't read this one, but it is described by Patrice Lawrence as being a beautifully written story of grief and friendship woven through with myth and the power of the landscape. So I think that's why we've got the focus of the trees and the hills and the sun there, and then the moon and the landscape, because the surrounding landscape seems to play a large part. Okay, so this book is about Carl, who visits the Peak District. Of course, that's a gorgeous part of England. I haven't been to it, but I would one day absolutely love to go there. So he visits the Peak District with his parents to try and recover from the fallout of a horrific accident. He becomes caught up in the mysterious tale of the lost lad. Are the hills actually haunted, or is Carl being chased by his own demons? As past and present collide, Carl must learn to come to terms with the loss of his best friend Jack, and find a way to move on. So Thomas Taylor describes it as a tale of loss, rediscovery, and our haunted landscapes. This book will haunt you, though you won't want it any other way. So this sounds absolutely intriguing, sad, poignant, and I should get to it soon because, of course, these middle grade fiction books, these chapter books for roughly 10 to 13-year-olds, or a bit younger, a bit older, depending on reading ability or interest. And I also highly recommend adults to read children's fiction, or at least every now and then. I've never lost my love of children's fiction. Ever since I basically fell in love with reading, I've been reading children's fiction, then YA fiction, at the same time as adult classics, English classics and Russian classics. But I have never lost my love for children's fiction, particularly fantasy fiction or sort of magical realism or family stories such as this one. Okay, so my next one also features some nature as a character. This one I'm only a little way through, and it is a trilogy. It's called Wildwood, and it's written by Colin Meloy, and the illustrations are done by Carson Ellis, who's a really famous children's book illustrator. And not only does it have a fantastic cover, but also there are illustrations inside. But it is a chunker of a book with some beautiful deckled edges. I am a sucker for deckled edges, so I was very lucky that this one had it. So we've got the main characters in here. We've got the animals, we've got the setting, all in a very stylized design. And also the text. Oh, bookmark coming out. The text for Wildwood is just a perfect fit. It's simple. It's not too dominant, but it still sticks out with the reds. And on the back, we just have a little picture of someone on a horse. And on the spine, we've got a bird. Okay, so Wildwood. So this one is described as a richly satisfying weave of reality and fantasy. And so at the moment, the stage I'm at with the reading, I haven't got to the fantasy part yet, apart from the very beginning where the baby brother of one of the main characters is carried off by crows, I think it was. It's been a while since I started this one. Up into the air and away over into this terrifying terrifying area that is basically out of bounds and no one ever goes there because terrible things happen. So let me read the back to give you a fuller picture. Prue McKeel's life is ordinary. That is, until her brother is abducted by a murder of crows and taken to the impassable wilderness. Yes, that was the name for it. The impassable wilderness, a dense, tangled forest on the edge of Portland. No one's ever gone in, or at least returned to tell of it. So begins an adventure that will take Prue and her friend Curtis deep into the impassable wilderness. There they uncover a secret world in the midst of violent upheaval. A world full of warring creatures, peaceable mystics, and powerful figures with the darkest intentions. And what begins as a rescue mission becomes something much greater as the two friends find themselves entwined in a struggle for the very freedom of this wilderness. A wilderness the locals call Wildwood. So the cover art, obviously, yes, is by Carson Ellis and everything inside, but the cover design is by Carson Ellis and Sarah Hoy. So that would have been for getting together, choosing the text, the positioning, the colours, all that sort of thing, and what to include. I might just flip open to... So we've got some spot illustrations, we've got full page ones like this one. There's a beautiful full page one, if you can see that. And what's another one? Oh, yep, here's another one. Here are all the crows, the murder of crows. Absolutely delightful illustrations in there, they really are. And there's a spot illustration. Oh, there we go. Just a little one down the bottom there. But the illustrations really are, they're all the way throughout the book. And sometimes, oh, look at this one, even spreading over 2 pages. Going this way. Okay, so only 2 more books to go. Ooh, 2 more to go. So let me see. I must say, for the children's ones, I also have 2 that I found very hard to choose for my favorite for the children's ones. So the first one is called Julia and the Shark, and it's by Kiran Millwood Hargrave. And the cover illustration and all the amazing, beautiful illustrations inside it, and no, it's not a picture book either, but it is heavily illustrated, are by Tom de Freston. And I believe they're actually, they're a couple. I think they're married. Yeah, which is wonderful if you can do projects like this together. So here is the amazing cover, Julia and the Shark. And this one I have read and absolutely loved. I've read quite a lot of Kiran Millwood Hargrave's books. She's done so far mostly middle grade fiction, but she also wrote some YA, and I have The Mercies, which I haven't started yet. And it's also got an interesting cover, but nothing like this original artwork. Oh, and the back, I should show you the back as well. That's quite different. There we go. So heavily animal focused. So this is about, obviously, it's about a girl and a shark. Well, that's probably oversimplifying it. But it's the story of Julia, whose mother has a lot of issues, has a lot of problems. And she's a researcher, and she wants to research the Greenland shark, I think it was. So there's a little bit of information in there about sharks as well, which is fascinating, especially the Greenland shark, which can live to, I believe, hundreds of years, that's just amazing. So it's her journey going far, far, far away from her homeland to the farthest ends of the Isles. I think it was the Orkney Isles, but I'm not sure. I'd have to double check, or you can get the book and read it as well and find out. So once again, yes, I do recommend adults reading books like this, not just children. So it's got little illustrations through it, and it's got large illustrations. And there's also, I might show you on one of these, there's like a clear cover art in there. It's probably a little bit hard to see. So this part here, so I can lift this over. It's like a clear part, and then you can see the illustration, but it does have a little bit of like other parts of an illustration on it that sort of go with whatever it happens to be. Let me see if I can find a really nice example. There are some spot illustrations throughout it as well. Little cat there. But you can see the entire tone of the book, it remains the same. We've got black, white, and yellow, which really ties the whole book visually beautifully together. And every time as you're reading it, you're just wondering what's the next illustration going to be? How's it going to look? Because it really forms a big part of the story, almost like it would for a picture book. So if you look up Tom de Freston on the internet, you can see a lot more of his artworks. So these are very layered. I want to find one more that I really... Where's the one with... Oh no, here's the lighthouse. So they do actually, that's right, they move and stay temporarily in a lighthouse as well. So definitely one of my favorites. I think the visual impact of this is the greatest, whereas the last one I'm about to show you, they're both subtle, but of course the one with the yellow really stands out. But this one is by Madeleine L'Engle, or actually I'm not sure how to say her last name, but a very, very well-known children's book author. So this one is A Swiftly Tilting Planet. And it was published in the year I was born, I discovered. So back in the 70s. Oh my goodness. So this, I'm not sure if it's the second printing or if it's the actual original first one. Let me have a look. Nope, it's the original one. The first printing as well. Let me see if it says anything about the artist here. Okay, not on the inside. Let's hope on the back. It doesn't. Maybe on the back. Inside, no. Oh, I would actually have to probably try and find out who this artist is, because I really love this illustration. So I haven't read the book, but I believe it's a science fiction, maybe slightly science fiction fantasy type. But the first one, A Wrinkle in Time, so this is part of the series, I have read, but a long time ago when I was a kid. But it was really, really in-depth, more complex type language, not a quick read. So this is, I don't think it actually says anything about this book, only about the other books. But I mean, who would not like that cover? It's elegant. The colors work together. It's got layers. It's got a very interesting, mysterious, let me have a look. What is that? A creature that looks like it almost has two faces and is moving like the wind. And then a boy riding a unicorn. Or not a unicorn, it's Pegasus. He's got wings. Or actually, I can't remember if Pegasus had a horn or if it was just he had wings. Oh, I really should know this. But yeah, so this cover and Julia and the Shark, I think they do tie for best children's book covers that I own. and the Living on Earth one, and You Better Be Lightning. Those ones. Okay, so basically I have four favorites out of the 10. So I think, hang on. Sorry, I did have a little interruption then. So I was trying to just finalize, and I wanted to say, even though I guess this is not officially a tag, I might tag a few people, but it's more a kind of, I guess, a response video tag where there aren't any prompts. The major thing is share some beautiful covers if you have some that you're very fond of. You can set your own sort of parameters for it. I chose my own parameters. But yeah, I would love to see some more response videos. Maybe I should see if there's a hashtag I can use for it, as well as the Tag Tuesday, and help sort of spread the love of book cover art and book cover design, which work hand in hand. But of course, you've got some amazing artists out there that either solely do covers or do covers and some illustrations inside. To be honest, one day I would love to be able to do that as well. So, but I have too many things I love doing, and so little time. That's really my problem. But yeah, I look forward to your response videos for this tag. And let me know in the comments below if out of the 10 that I showed you, which one or two were your favorites out of those. Okay, thanks very much, and I'll see you another time. Bye for now.